Hey, this is Tom Arnold, and you're listening to The Whole Podcast.
Welcome to The Whole.
What world is this?
All right. Welcome to The Whole. My name is Rob Sprance.
And I'm Lori Levine.
And we are joined by, he's a freedom fighter these days, Rick Wilson from the Lincoln Project. Rick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it, Rob, Lori.
We wanted to have you on for quite some time because I say often that the Democrats are very soft a lot of times, and they don't get dirty like the Republicans do. And this is probably, maybe not dirty, but they don't get aggressive enough. I think sometimes they're a little too soft. And who better to come in and help than a Republican who, let's face it, swings quite a bit. Like you know, everything that you're on, you're aggressive and you defend and you go with facts, but you know, you're not afraid to fight it a little more when you need to. So
no, I mean, it's one of our superpowers that this group has put together is all of us are brawlers. All of us are the guys that you called in the Republican world back in the day when you needed somebody to come in and knock the crap out of people and to get the job done and to close the deal. And whether that was in the ad space where I exist or in the organizational space where Reed Galen exists or in the strategy space where Steve Schmidt exists, all these tools that we brought to this toolbox, we're applying now to drive Trump from office. And it's important that we have this ability to punch as hard as we possibly can. And it's kind of great, Rob, because we're liberated. We don't have a candidate. We don't have a candidate who's like, well, that's pretty hard, man. You shouldn't. We should say no. We just go. We are unrestricted warfare in the North Atlantic, as we call it. It's like we're out hunting the Trump world every day, and we're doing it in a way that's peeling off voters he needs, and we're doing it in a way that makes him personally insane. So it's all good.
that happens to be my favorite part of it is driving.
Oh, yes. Honestly.
Well, you see it with the Brad Parscale ad. Like, that was directly targeted to attack Trump. Like, it was for nobody else except for Trump to, like, lose it from seeing that and how much money Brad's making and how he's living.
Well, it's funny because we had the theory that would work early in the process. And I think when we understood how much Brad was taking out of the Trump campaign and the fact that he was just doing, that scene in Goodfellas where they go, nobody go buy a Cadillac. He went and bought a Ferrari and a $90,000 Land Rover and a house on Fort Lauderdale on the water and a 45-foot boat and all this. And it was just an attractive nuisance. We had to go at him. We also knew that Trump hates anyone who makes money.
Mm-hmm. Off him,
right. He wants to be the guy who is the scammer. He doesn't want anybody else scamming him. And once we started that ball rolling, we knew it was over. And there was an article this weekend that came out about the end of Brad's run and how the Trump campaign is trying to reset itself. And I will frame this quote because it said, Trump saw the ad and asked Parscale about the ass slapping. Because we were playing this like we wanted it to look like a Miami Vice kind of feel with, women in bikinis dancing on Brad's yacht and all these things. And we had so much fun doing it. And that one little moment was in there. And apparently that's what got Donald Trump's attention.
It's so good. Yeah, and it's sad, though. Like, those are the things that he's focused on in general.
Right.
And, I've seen you for years and years now attacking him. But, when was the point where you and Steve and George decided that enough is enough? We have to do more than just going on TV and saying things. We have to actually create something that will be more aggressive and give us more power.
Yeah, I mean, look, we started thinking about this in the fall of last year because all of us had been involved in varying capacities and varying, moments. I was one of the OGs of Never Trump. Back in 2015, I just was like, no, this is it. I'm going to listen to that, My Better Angels, for once in my damn life. But last fall, we started talking about, what Never Trump was or could be or is. And it kept coming down to this. There were a lot of people in D.C. sitting around in nice houses, drinking nice wine, saying, I don't like this man. What are we going to do? I'll write another op-ed. And, none of us are exactly the guys who just sit around and write op-eds.
Right.
We do them, and very nicely, thank you. But our real job is to go out and break shit and make people suffer. So we decided in late part of the year to apply that. George and I had some early talks about it, just on like, what fun would it be to just find ways to fuck with Trump psychologically? But what happened with Lincoln Project was that we grew so quickly and we scaled so quickly that now we have to be grown-ups about all this. We've got, almost $25 million in the bank for the fall to go and fight this out on television and digital. We're raising money at a colossal clip because voters want to be involved with people who are going to take the fight to Donald Trump. And that's us every damn day. We take the fight to Donald Trump every day. We've got two big columns of strategic interest. The fuck with Trump side is, we're really good at it. And people go, oh, you're just trolling the president. It's not really trolling when the fish is already on the hook.
Right. And
this is something we do because it has a value to Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. It keeps Trump distracted and it keeps him running witch hunts in his own campaign. It keeps him confused. It makes him do things like walk down a ramp to prove he can walk down a ramp. That's what he's about.
That was, and then give a speech where 25 minutes was showing how he drank the water and how he walked down the ramp. And I mean, you're clearly in his head, without a doubt. And it's not easy to do that because, first of all, there's plenty of room in there, but still, it's just not something that's easy to do. And
rent free, brother.
Yeah, exactly. But so now, obviously, you were on the, you're a Republican. You're still are you still a Republican? Say again?
Independent.
Oh, independent. Okay, good. So, the party started changing around the time of the Tea Party is really when we started to see a drift because, the Republican Party you were a part of at the time is nothing like what it is now. No. Go ahead.
I came from my first campaign in 1988, right out of school, was for George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush 41. I was field director in Florida, and I went to Washington to work for him. And the political culture in that administration, the shit people do in this White House would get every single person fired in a hot minute.
Right.
Well, just talking to the Russians, like, isn't that everything Ronald Reagan was against?
I was privileged to work in the Defense Department and for the administration during the end of the Cold War. We still kept the old trust but verify thing, and the way that Trump behaves towards Vladimir Putin and always has, and the Senate Intelligence Committee report today confirms it again.
Right. But, at this point, though, I always read these and I'm like, oh, now they got him. But they never, ever, ever get him. So, yeah, I'm fucking mad.
Well, look, the only way to really get him is to crush him at the ballot box this fall, to drive his forces before him and hear the screaming and lamentation of his women. You've got to crush him. And that's what we're after. We say this a lot. People are like, well, you're going to just pick off a little bit here. Yeah, we want to pick off a little bit here and a little bit there. But we want to run up the Electoral College score so much that it hurts.
Yeah.
But do you fear, Rick? Like, it's not just who's voting, it's who's counting these votes.
Oh, God, yeah. No, listen, we've also got an army of attorneys coming together all across this country. And we have more attorneys volunteering to help us than we can possibly process right now. We're scaling up super quickly, but we want the White House and the Trump campaign to know there are going to be eyes and ears in every significant state and in most of the significant cities and precincts in these states, legal eyes and ears observing, watching this, and we're going to be able to take action, we hope, very swiftly if they play fuck around with this thing, and they're going to try to play fuck around with this thing. We just know it.
Yeah, I mean, they already are. And I have a feeling that this whole thing with the Postal Service, I don't necessarily, first of all, he seems to float ideas to see if they're going to take sometimes.
Sure.
Or tries it to see if he can get away with it.
Sure.
And even today, I'm not I'm not so fully convinced this announcement that everything's hunky-dory now. Like, what happens to all the sorters they took out? Are they going to put them back? What happened to the plan to double the price? I didn't see anything about them handling them for. First of all, those should be free. Period. The mail should just have those votes should just be picked up for free, and no one should have to cover that cost.
Well, they are supposedly free.
Okay,
but the concern right now is that Louis DeJoy has done the I know you caught me robbing the bank. I notice I have a bag of cash in one hand. Do you mind if I leave? Well, no, fuck you. I don't mind if you leave. What he has to do he has to make this right. They have to reactivate the sorting machines. They have to reestablish the number of people that are involved in the sort process, the delivery process. They need to undo the shit that they did, because if he doesn't, he should acquaint himself with stamping out license plates or whatever the hell it is they do in prison these days to make $8 a month, because he has violated a variety of black letter law about interfering with the delivery of the mails. And it's boring and it's weird, but it's there in statute, and he will get prosecuted for it, and he will do time.
Yeah, I hope.
By the way, he looks soft. That guy will not prosper in prison, not even for a minute.
I hope so. So I want to kind of when he first got elected, I said to myself, pretty soon the Republicans will start to turn on him. And I don't necessarily mean the supporters or people like you, but I meant, the people in the Senate and the people that, even during the campaign when he's, insulting Ted Cruz's wife and he's, doing.
He gave out Lindsey Graham's phone number.
So, in fairness, a lot of people had it.
Right. So what do you think it is that no one has really come? I mean, you've got Mitt Romney.
It's really easy. No, it's really easy, Rob. It's called FOMT, fear of mean tweets. Okay. These guys know if Trump tweets them, they're going to be living with death threats, crazy shit. They're going to have stalkers at their house. I tell a story in my first book about a congressman who was doing a town hall in 2017, Republican. Mm-hmm. And he gets a guy who stands up, and the guy says, "Are you going to be with Mr. Trump 100% of the time?" And he says, I should have known in advance that there was like the Mr. Trump thing might have been a giveaway, right?
Right.
The guy says, "Are you going to be with Mr. Trump 100% of the time?" He goes, "Well, I supported him. I endorsed him. I'm going to do everything I can to make his agenda successful." And he says, "But I represent you. Right. So if something's wrong for this district, I can't cross the people of my district. You are who I represent first."
Mm-hmm. Which is the answer you should give. It's the right answer.
Guy gets off the stage and his phone is like 911, please call home immediately. Because his wife, by the time he left the stage, some idiot had posted it on Facebook. It had gone viral. His wife was getting death threats. His kid's school was getting bomb threats and death threats. Everybody was like descending on him like a crazy, like storm of crazy people. That's what these guys are afraid of. They're all afraid of Trump's Twitter feed and the social media warriors that Trump has, who will drag anybody, who will harass people to death, who will go out of their way to turn their lives into a living hell. And they're just terrified of the guy. And the party doesn't mean anything anymore. There's no ideology. It's a personality cult about Donald Trump. So that's why they're scared of him.
Yeah, but then there's also, you have these other people who come out. All right, so the people who have left, we lost them. All right.
It was going well. I think I wonder if his internet just went out for a second.
We just had a little flicker of our power here.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's the Trump voters. They're coming for you, Rick. Right? I saw you have AR-15, so I feel you're okay. You're safe.
So, but what I was going to say is you have like the John Kellys, the John Boltons. You have all of these guys who maybe kind of said something or had a book coming out, or like, where's the moment where all of them talk to each other and say, we have to do something? So like yesterday, Miles Taylor came out.
Yep.
Which is a very powerful video, and then Trump claimed he never met him, and then there was then Miles Taylor tweeted a picture of him with Trump with the thumbs up, like the thumb is always fucking up. And now on top of that, he responded and said, I'm not going to mention any other names yet, but the president can expect that in the coming weeks and months, he's going to hear from more people that served in his administration. So, I mean, that seems to me like that is a plan. I hope it is. And I hope.
But even Miles was there for 2 years before he came out.
Yeah, look, I good operations leak on purpose, okay? Bad operations leak because they're bad operations. If 1/10 of the people in the White House that are telling us things come out, it's the goddamn apocalypse. And the people that have been in there that have told us things that don't want to go on the record yet, blah 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 blah. There's going to be a moment in what we in politics call a preference cascade, where all of a sudden the first guy to come out gets a lot of credit for coming out. The second guy, a lot of credit. Third guy, a little bit of credit. 27th guy, fuck you, nothing. You know, you knew the Nazis were going to fall at that point, and it doesn't matter anymore. Right now, the guys in the White House are still. This is like the night before the Allies land in France in World War II. You go out tonight and blow up a bridge or cut a telegraph line, you're on the resistance. You wait until the Germans are on the run, not so much.
Right. There's a good point. So, do you guys have anything up your sleeve? I'm sure you do. But I'm sure that's all I needed to know.
How does it work, Rick? Does somebody say let's what's the newest Lincoln Project ad? I think it's the one with Rex Tillerson calling him the biggest idiot. Yeah. How does it come up? How is it organic?
Well, of course, we're based in a secret volcano layer that's been hollowed. Everyone wears matching jumpsuits during the workday. Look, we have a bunch of calls during the day where the senior advisors and the principals all talk on the phone constantly and get on Zooms all the time, all day long. And we make decisions on two big axes. One, how is this message going to affect Donald Trump's behavior, the audience of one theory? Or two, how is this going to affect the behavior of voters in key swing states we have on our target set? And so then we build out media and advertising related to those activities. And we often joke the worst idea wins, because if you play this game with what we call Senate committee rules, it's boring. That's why our ads are more transgressive and more aggressive than most people.
You put on your Twitter, which I love, we go low so you don't have to.
That is the advantage of being true. And as much as I wish we lived in a world where Michelle Obama was right about the nature of politics, we actually live in a filthy gutter full of blood, and so we fight there. Yeah, that's what it's like. And all of us have been around so many campaigns now that we don't mind the stink.
You notice she changed that a little bit yesterday. She kind of said, "I know we said that, but that doesn't mean you have to just roll over and take it." As paraphrasing, of course. But so with the convention so far, are you noticing anything? Is there anything that's happening that you don't like? Are you happy with the Harris pick? I think she's a fighter for sure, but so that's good.
She's a fighter. I think the pick. I think he bounded himself with the assertion he was going to pick a woman and essentially from a group of African American women candidates. I think Harris, among a group of their very talented candidates, was the one who has a certain presence that you look at her and you go, ready to be president.
Yeah.
And that really counts. Yep. That really counts, especially because Biden has said, I'm a transitional figure. He's not wrong. He's a transitional figure. Guy's 77 years old. Right. And so a second term is not high on the probability scale. And so we're going to have a period where he's ushered that in. I think she's a good bridge in that. She's not too young, but she's very experienced. So you can look at her as a person ready to step in on a moment's notice.
Yeah, and I think anybody who watches those hearings and have seen her, there were always two to me. It was her and Al Franken, who I miss dearly. But, those were the two that really would get extra aggressive. So, right away, everybody just pictured her sitting next to Mike Pence. and got instantly excited as I do. She doesn't give any shit.
She's gonna I know Mike Pence, and Mike Pence is not a bold person. And Mike Pence is going to go into this with a bunch of very slicked up talking points that about 50 writers have developed, and they've whole tested them and all that.
And it's going to be defund the police over and over again.
Of course. And he's going to go, and she's going to go in there and just knock his damn dick in the dirt. And it is not going to be pretty. What we learned about her as a debater, and I think she got the job in part because Joe Biden's an old campaigner. He's a warhorse, okay? He's been around this business a long time. And he knows what it's like to land a punch and to take a punch. Mm-hmm. And I think he's looked through all these people and said, who do I think can go out and do the 5-finger quivering palm death grip on Mike Pence? Mm-hmm. And if she has a good night in the VP debate, I think it's going to be a big thing for her and against Pence.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that they like to use against her was her how aggressive she was as a prosecutor. Right. But now, when someone brings up defund the police, you can say, "Oh yeah, well here's what I've done," and he gave me crap for it.
There's the irony of the situation. They're like, "Well, she's too tough and wants to defund the police." Wait, what? How's it work again?
Yeah. So what do you see? What mistakes? Because in your book, Running Against the Devil, you pretty much lay out the strategy to beat the dummy. It's all right there. But are they doing anything that you're not happy about right now? Do you think could blow it? Like, do you think he should even bother debating him at this point?
Trump won't debate. I don't think so.
Well, Lori, I go back and forth on it because on the one hand, he is the biggest camera whore ever put on this earth. The most dangerous place in the world is between Donald Trump and a camera lens.
Yeah.
He would trample his own grandmother to get on TV.
And like you said, he's good at it. I mean, that's the one thing he's good at, right? He's a showman. Donald
Trump, and this is something that Biden has to be ready for in the debate. Donald Trump knows where the camera is, knows where the eye lines of all the 3 cameras on the floor will be. He knows how to perform and move on the stage in a way that he used it against Hillary Clinton to visual effect. Remember, he's always looming over the back of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And I sent a funny text to a Clinton campaign person at the time, and I said, listen, if he does that again,
touch him, right?
She needs to touch him.
Yeah.
You need to reach out and put a hand on him and say, are you okay, Donald? Are you okay? You okay?
Well, Hillary was on Howard Stern and she said, I wanted to say something, but then I look like the angry woman. So she felt.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, Biden is going to be on the stage with this guy and Trump is going to try to play the same game. I hope that Biden takes a lesson from George W. Bush. In the debate in St. Louis in 2000, Al Gore walked out from behind his podium. Now, Al Gore's like a head taller than W. Okay. Yep. He's a big guy, walks over towards W, trying to sort of intimidate him. And George W. maybe 6 foot, maybe 5'11". I don't know. He's not a huge guy. George W. steps from behind his podium, just cocks his shoulders back, has this look on his face like, one more step, motherfucker. And Biden needs to have a little bit of that attitude against Trump because Trump is accustomed to looming over people. And, that's why he wears the big suits with the padded shoulders and the high hair and the huge ties and the lifts in his shoes.
Right.
It's such an insecure, tiny penis guy act. But Biden needs to be ready to not let Trump physically appear to control the space.
Right. So, it just makes me wonder if they even need to do it. Like now, of course, they want more debates because they're in trouble.
Right.
And I'd like to think they're in trouble, but I don't fully believe it anymore because
this is going to be a race that is fought to the finish. We do not have any luxuries in this race. We do not have any giveaways in this race. We've got to be on top of this thing till the last dog dies. We've got to be attentive to every swing state. You can't let Trump get in there and play fuck around anywhere. And it's going to have to be a race like none of the Democrats have run in a long time. Because let's be honest, Barack Obama had 2 easy races in a lot of ways. Okay? John McCain, at the end of the campaign, the economic collapse sucked down any chance, and the Iraq war sucked down any chance of John and Sarah Palin getting off the ground. Okay? Mitt Romney was outgunned financially by Obama by about 2-1, and it just wasn't there. The Democrats have not had a hard race in a while, and they need to focus on the kind of things that can go wrong, as Hillary Clinton painfully learned.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So what's the next step now? So what's next for the Lincoln Project? What are you doing next?
We got about 73 days of hard marching ahead, and at some point I will learn how to sleep more than 3 hours in bed again. We're probably going to make about 150 more ads between now and then. I'm not even exaggerating. We've got stuff going on in so many states right now. It's almost mind numbing. The organization has grown very, very quickly. It went from 5 of us and 4 or 5 of us on a Signal chat to a staff of now almost 40 people. Jeez. And we've got volunteers all over the country. We've got organizers all over the country. It's kind of cool, and we're really excited about it. But we're going to every day we're going to take the fight to Donald Trump. That's our job.
Yeah. And for those of you who are just listening to the audio version of this, I put it up on the screen here. But if you want to get involved with the Lincoln Project, go to lincolnproject.us. Everything from donations to volunteering or to anything to get the word out. If you're as passionate about a lot of us are to get him out of there, because this is, even Miles Taylor said it. The administration said, if you think this is bad, wait until we get a second term. We can do whatever we want. Yep. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will.
That's right.
Rick, do you think Florida will go blue?
I do. I think Florida's leaning blue this time. We're about to start some advertising in Florida today in the Puerto Rican community, which is a major target that the Clinton campaign didn't properly address the last time around. And I think the predicates for Florida going blue are increasingly favorable, including the fact that Trump is starting to lose with seniors. Mm-hmm. And if he loses 3 or 4 points in Florida with seniors, that's the ball game.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the only place where it's okay to vote by mail because most of the seniors want to vote by mail. Isn't that amazing how that works?
Amazing how that works. As a Florida man, I will tell you, I tend to vote by mail. I like same-day voting. Look, I like the tradition of voting. I like it, but the world has changed, and here we are. So I'd rather not go, have thousands of people gathering together in one place to spread the vid.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, so I know you're limited on time.
They are. They're pulling me out of here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for having me.
Rick, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm so happy the book is so successful.
Thank you.
And your other book is the best title that's ever lived.
Everything the publisher on the first book was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes. My mom says it about once a day. She'll say the name of that book.
We'll give her my best. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Rick. Take care.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye-bye. Very cool. How do you like that, Lori?
You didn't want to get him to get an ID.
No, you know what? I pushed. We're still on. So I pushed. I pushed it till the very last second. I knew he had until 4:35. It's 4:39 now, and I was just pushing.
I have so many more questions, but whatever.
Well, hopefully we can have him back at another time. But it was just it was really good for him to join us, and I want to thank everyone who's been checking out the show. We have a lot of new subscribers as of late, so welcome. It feels really good to be on this new run. Check us out at thewholepodcast.com. If you can help in any way, it would be subscribe, review, go to our site. There's a subscribe button. You just click that, go to iTunes, leave us a review. We're not asking for money, but if you want to buy some merch, we got some t-shirts. We got The Show Sucks now. We have we have a whole bunch of different t-shirts that are. But
we only want good reviews. Don't leave a bad review.
You know what? If they're listening this far, they wouldn't leave a bad review. But all the Trump people now are going to start hammering it. So, but that's fine. But I hope you guys are as excited about this new push that we've had as we are. We've got more surprises under our sleeve. We are going to keep on hustling. We're closing in on 300 episodes, and I think this is probably the happiest I've been doing the show in a long time. One, because I don't really have to go anywhere.
And two, because I'm here with you all the time.
Lori's always here with me now. So, yeah, those things are very, very important. But thank you again. And you can follow Lori on Twitter. Lori's active on Twitter again. What is it?
Slowly active.
Slowly active. It was Lori
_ Levine, Levine.
That's right. I am Rob Sprance on Twitter. Thank you again. We'll be back next week with another surprise.
Later, motherfucks.
Yes.